Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, Patsun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/relationship advice, where a wife now heavily regrets demanding an open marriage. Let's begin. Our first story is posted by Reddit user ThrowRA Agent 000.
2.5 years ago, my wife Sarah, 36F, asked me to open our marriage. She strongly implied the alternative was divorce. After thinking it through, I said yes, primarily because we do have 2 children. I worked long hours and divorce sounded horrible. So I set up some ground rules. Not bringing dates into our house, no dating mutual friends, acquaintances, family members, collages, keeping things private. For the next 2 years, I focused on my job and on my kids. I worked long hours. The little free time I had, I devoted to my kids. I didn't have the time for dating, so I wasn't even trying. I moved to another room because the thought of Sarah having sex with another man, then sleeping in my bed felt horrible. Our relationship became purely transactional. We became partners at raising kids. I didn't want to know anything about her sex life. This summer, I managed to fulfill my financial goals. I do not have any debt whatsoever. Both of my kids have enough money in their college fund, and all I have to do is to keep adding some savings every month into the fund I made for their first home deposits. So I did some math and decided to cut my work from 74 hours to just 30 per week. Sarah wanted to get indebted again, to buy another house and a new car. I said no. I used my free time to finally have the vacation I really needed. Took my older son with me to tour US together. Did some renovation work on our house. Turned basement into man cave. Started working out, play sports, leading a healthier life. Then I actually started trying to land a date. For me, just having sex with somebody is not my thing.
Forgive him, he's a very passive boy.
Beta male, got it.
I want to at least be a friend before that. To go out together, watch movies, have fun, and have sex. So I dated a couple of women and found a Jane with whom I clicked. With Jane, I was going out to concerts, art galleries, comic cons, movies, and we would boink too. Sarah wanted to talk about my dates. I said no. Then I caught Sarah snooping through my phone, and we had a very strongly worded argument. Now, Sarah wants to update the terms of our open marriage. She wants us to repair our marriage by going to the counselor. She wants us to sleep in the same room, to go outside and have fun together. Our outside of marriage relationships are to be strictly sexual and nothing else, and we are to talk about our sexual partners. I told her that I am content with the situation as it is, and I don't mind if she finds a partner to go out with. I encouraged her to, and I don't want to talk about our partners. She is holding her ground. At this point, I'm split between trying to fix our marriage and handing her the divorce papers. I need an advice, guys. TLDR. After opening our marriage and me starting to date, wife wants to change the rules. And now for OP's update. Me and my wife Sarah had 2 sessions with a couples counselor. Counselor was being very dedicated and professional. However, Sarah kept making demands which felt very unreasonable and unfair. She wants to keep an open relationship, which is only about sex. She doesn't want to find a job and keep working. She wants us to buy a new house. In every variation, she stubbornly wasn't to have 2 out of 3 of these things. Today during the counseling, she threatened divorce. After counseling, she said counselor was taking my side and wanted to change to another counselor. Although I think counselor was just trying to be fair and find a compromise. I had a talk with the lawyer and started divorce proceedings. She will get the papers in a couple of days. I will give her 2 months to start earning on her own. After that, I'm not giving any money whatsoever to her anymore. P.S. I just wanted to add that I only started working 74 hours a week after she decided to open our marriage. Before that, I was working around 50 hours a week. Wasn't spending my time at bars and clubs either, helped with chores as much as I could, and I was being home and available every weekend.
Listen, OP, I'm glad that you finally woke up, but I just don't understand why would you stay in this shit show of a marriage for so damn long? And don't even think of saying you stayed for the kids. Do you seriously believe that seeing their mother going out and being a hoe while their father is miserable and working himself to death is a better alternative to them having 2 households? Come on, man. And I also find it hilarious that her demands are to continue stepping out, but only sex, which obviously benefits her. She refuses to work, which also benefits her. And now she's demanding a new house on your dime? The audacity, seriously. She was fine stepping out of your marriage for years, but when you started doing it too, she suddenly has a problem with it? Seriously, the amount of entitlement and selfishness is unreal. It's also funny that she thinks mentioning divorce is somehow a threat. Well, I can't really blame her since she will most probably take half of everything that you have ever worked for. That's just how fucked up the world has become. Destroy your family, and then you get hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. Our second story is posted by Reddit user Should But I Don't.
Right, where to begin? The soon-to-be ex-wife and I were together for over 25 years, 22 of those married. Prior to this, there were no infidelities or large problems. We have 4 children, a pair of twins, boy and girl, 20 years old, a son that's 19, and our youngest daughter is 15. I filed for divorce mid-December and had her move out of our home and back with her parents. Got a lot of voicemail left and emails and even handwritten letters about how sorry she is about what she's done, but I never replied in any way. When it finally dawned on her that I was really going through this and there was nothing she could do to stop it, she attempted to send herself to the shadow realm. In all likelihood, she would have died had her parents not stayed at home to keep an eye on her. From what I've been told, she tried to overdose on pills, but no one knows where she got them in the first place. Her infidelity apparently became fully physical only recently, late November or early December, but even before that, she was emotionally cheating for at least a few months before that. I don't care to find out how long since it wouldn't really help me in any way. Since it was a married man with whom she had the affair, I'd notified his wife, so he's getting divorced too. Add to that, they're co-workers, which is how they met in the first place, and I assume they used work time to start the affair. For those that are going to ask, how did you find out? The answer is, I didn't. Our son and daughter, the twins, did. They saw their mother kissing with the other man in public. The place in question isn't somewhere where any of us usually pass through. And then they proceeded to inform me. I started digging around and found more than enough evidence of a prolonged affair. I don't have many deal breakers, and believe that marriage is something that's a continuous work in progress. You have to do your part to keep it alive and well, but cheating is something that I absolutely will not overlook or forgive. To cheat is to take a shit on all the time you spent together, to take a dump on your shared lives. It's nothing more than selfishness and cruelty. I'm just telling you so you can understand me a bit better. Maybe, but that's a really reaching. Maybe I could have tried to look past this if it had been a one-time thing, and she immediately came to me, contrite and remorseful. But she wasn't. I mean, she only started sobbing and bawling once she got caught, and that to me is utterly worthless. It's easy to cry once your shit is put into the spotlight, but before all this, I've never noticed anything remorseful about her or any sign of guilt. I just can't live with someone like that. Thankfully, all of the kids were supporting and understanding when I told them I was going to divorce their mother. Our youngest cried more than I did, but said I was doing the right thing for all of us. She did ask me if she could live with me. The other 3 already have places of their own by their own choice, and I told her she didn't even have to ask. I think that's the best thing in this situation overall. Just having the kids there showing me not all of those years being with my wife were a waste. Whatever she's like now, I can at least be grateful for our children, if nothing else. I love them more than anything. Unfortunately, nearly everyone we know, barring the friends who were my friends before they became the families, are trying to get me to stop the divorce and talk to her, go into counseling, or some other nonsense. More so, after the attempt to send herself to the shadow realm. Needless to say, all those people are on my shit list, and I've cut all forms of communication with them. Sadly, that includes the in-laws, whom I've really loved before. All this happened since I'm an orphan myself, and saw them as the family I never had. They tried getting to me through their grandkids, which has soured them on visiting their grandparents in the near future. The kids tell me they love them, but they just can't be around them at this time because they're being so overbearing. They've also chosen to distance themselves from their mother, though they're still in touch, obviously. I'm in therapy myself, going through some counseling, because for all that's happened, I feel nothing. When I look back at finding out about all this, I see the lack of rage and hurt is very worrying. My therapist says I've numbed myself on purpose to help me get through this easier. I don't know. Before all this, if anyone asked me how I felt about my marriage and wife, I'd probably tell them as happy as I could be with a big smile on my face. Now, nothing. When I heard about the attempt to send herself to the shadow realm, you might as well have told me the weather forecast for the day. I didn't feel anything. Not for me personally, anyway. I was angry in a way as to what this could have done to our children. But beyond that, her trying to delete herself just doesn't get a reaction out of me. I'm not happy that she's realized how much she's ruined our lives, but I'm not feeling any sort of empathy either. I can't. It's just that I look at the situation and think, yes, and how is that any concern of mine? I'm not like that. Or at least I don't think I was like that before all of this. And my therapist assures me the numbness will pass. It's part of the healing process. But here we are, more than a month later, and I still feel nothing about what happened. I'm honestly not sure if that's good or bad. I'll just have to wait and see. As to the rest of my life, the friends that stayed true to me aren't letting me spend much time alone. They understand that I do need some time for myself every now and again, but they don't want me too alone. It all seems so different now, you know? Now my main concern here is about our kids. For now, they're keeping away from her of their own free choice. I didn't poison them against their mother or anything of the sort. They just don't want to talk to her much at all. Our youngest has been hit the hardest by her mother's infidelity, and I've been thinking of maybe having her go for some therapy too, if we can't resolve this on our own. This is what really bothers me about the whole thing, that our children reacted so severely to their mother's infidelity. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't glad that they did react negatively to it, because it goes to show that they understand that adultery is no small matter, and that it can, like it has for us, destroy marriages and families. But I'm worried about long term. Will they get over this? Will they eventually form a tangible relationship with their mother? Will they heal? If any of you folks have been in any situation as similar as ours, please share your experiences. TLDR. Wife cheated. I filed for divorce. She tried to send herself to the shadow realm, and our children have been hit pretty roughly by all this, but they've supported me all the way. What can I do to make this easier for them? What can I do to help them heal?
OP, your kids are all pretty much adults. Even your youngest is old enough to know exactly what's going on and the aftermath of it all. So you must approach this as if you're dealing with an adult. Let them grieve in their own way. If they need additional help, then get them some. But it sounds like they've been pretty honest about how they're feeling up to this point. And I have no doubt that you and your family is gonna get through this. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.